James Cameron's 2009 film Avatar is set in the year 2154, where Earth's natural resources are depleted. To combat this, the Resources Development Administration, or RDA, travels to a moon in the Alpha Centauri system known as Pandora. There, they begin mining a valuable mineral known as unobtainium with no regard for Pandora's natural environment or inhabitants, which includes 10-foot-tall blue humanoids known as Na'vi, who live in harmony with nature. Because Pandora's air is toxic to humans, RDA places their members into human-Na'vi hybrids known as avatars. Paraplegic Marine Jake Sully is recruited by RDA after the death of his twin brother, who was to serve as an avatar operator. Avatar program head Dr. Grace Augustine is skeptical of Jake's abilities, but reluctantly agrees to give him a chance to prove himself. As Jake in his new avatar body escorts Dr. Augustine and Dr. Norm Spellman around Pandora, the group are attacked by Pandora's wildlife. Jake is separated from the others and flees before being rescued by a Na'vi named Neytiri. Neytiri takes Jake to her clan's home tree, where he is taught about the Na'vi's way of life and the beauty and intricacies of their culture and environment, where everything is connected in perfect harmony. When Jake returns to RDA's base, he is confronted by Head of Security Colonel Miles Quaritch. Quaritch promises that RDA can fix Jake's legs permanently in exchange for more information about the Na'vi culture and the home tree, which sits atop a rich deposit of unobtainium. As Jake continues to learn more about the Na'vi and gain their trust, he is eventually initiated into Neytiri's Amatakaya tribe. Eventually, Jake and Neytiri also fall in love and choose each other as mates. This leads to Jake feeling guilty about being used by RDA as a spy, and for RDA's mining practices irreparably destroying Pandora's ecosystem. In an act of defiance to save a sacred Na'vi site, Jake disables an RDA bulldozer. RDA head administrator Parker Selfridge begins to grow frustrated with the setbacks to his company's quest for unobtainium and orders the destruction of the home tree. Grace, an ally of the Na'vi who fears the damage the home tree's destruction could have on Pandora's biological neural network, races with Jake to warn and evacuate the Na'vi. In an effort to explain the urgency of their warnings, Jake confesses to be an RDA spy as he pleads with the Na'vi to flee their home. In response to this revelation of betrayal, Jake and Grace are taken captive by the Na'vi. Quaritch and his team then arrive, destroying the home tree and killing many of its Na'vi inhabitants, including Neytiri's father, the clan chief. Although Neytiri's mother Moat frees Jake and Grace to save their lives, the two are detached from their avatars and imprisoned by Quaritch's team. One of Quaritch's pilots, Trudy, is horrified by his brutality and decides to help Jake, Grace, and Norm escape the RDA soldiers and return to their avatars to help save the Na'vi, though during their escape, Grace is shot. To regain the Na'vi's trust, Jake dangerously confronts a highly feared and revered creature known as the Taruk and connects his mind to it. Earning the Na'vi's respect and proving his connection to Pandora, Jake is able to convince Moat to take the dying Grace to the sacred Tree of Souls, where the Na'vi attempt to permanently transfer Grace into her avatar body. Despite their best efforts, Grace dies in the process. Grieving his friend, but resolved to help save the Na'vi, Jake supports the new clan chief Tsu'tey and helps rally other Na'vi clans on Pandora together to fight back against RDA. As Jake fully gives himself over to the Na'vi culture and prays to their deity Awa, a massive battle begins between Quaritch's forces and the many clans of Pandora. During the battle, both Tsu'tey and Trudy are tragically killed. As the Na'vi begin to lose the battle, they are helped by the various Pandoran wildlife, who join the fight against RDA, which Neytiri sees as a sign of Awa answering Jake's prayers. As RDA forces are defeated, Quaritch tracks down Jake's avatar link unit, exposing his human body to Pandora's toxic air. As Quaritch is about to kill the avatar Jake, Neytiri arrives, killing Quaritch and saving her love. As the film comes to a close, the Na'vi are victorious, expelling all of the humans not loyal to them from the planet. Jake then decides to have his human body brought to the Tree of Souls, where it is permanently placed in his avatar body, allowing him to reunite with Neytiri and rejoin his new family in the Amatakaya Na'vi clan. The story continues in Avatar: The Way of Water. 16 years have passed and Jake Sully is now chief of the Amatakaya clan, while living a peaceful life with Neytiri and their children, sons Neteyam and Loak, daughter Tuk, and the adopted Kiri, seemingly immaculately conceived from the lifeless avatar body of Dr. Grace Augustine. The children of the Sully family have also become close friends with Spider, the son of the late Colonel Quaritch, who has been raised by human scientists allowed by the Na'vi to stay on Pandora to research its environment. environment. Unfortunately, after so many years of peace, RDA returns to Pandora, attempting to colonize it once again. Leading this charge is General Francis Ardmore, and to help their cause, RDA has developed recombinants, Na'vi avatars implanted with the memories of deceased human soldiers. Leading this violent group is none other than the revived Miles Quaritch, who is left with conflicting feelings over now living in the body of the very species he is trying to oppress. As Quaritch's team attack Jake's clan, he manages to apprehend his own son Spider and interrogate him for how to best capture the Na'vi chief Jake Sully. Realizing his family is no longer safe, Jake flees with Neytiri and their children across the sea to live amongst the Metkayina clan. There, Jake and Neytiri forge an alliance with Chief Tonowari and his wife Ronal, while Loak forges a bond with the chief's daughter Rhea, who teaches him the ways of her people, leading to the two developing romantic feelings for each other. Loak becomes the target of bullying from Rhea's brother Alnung, who takes Loak on a hunting trip at sea, but then strands him in dangerous water. Loak is rescued by Payakan, a whale-like creature known as a Tolkun. Loak and Payakan forge an unlikely friendship, which in turn wins Loak the respect of Alnung, who explains that the Metkayina view the Tolkun as spiritual brethren, though Payakan is an outcast from the rest of his species. Payakan explains to Loak that he was outcast from his tribe after attacking human hunters that killed his mother, leading to more violence being brought against the Tolkun. Jake and Neytiri's adopted daughter Kiri also takes an interest in the sea, and upon linking her mind to the underwater spirit tree, she experiences visions of grace, though then suffers a seizure and nearly drowns. Jake seeks out the help of his human scientist friends Norm Spellman and Max Patel, who determine that Kiri suffers from epilepsy and risks dying if she tries to link with the spirit tree ever again. Meanwhile, Quaritch and his team track Norm and Max to the general vicinity of the Metkayina clan. The colonel brings along his son Spider, who attempts to teach his father about the Na'vi's culture. To reach the Metkayina, Quaritch aligns with one of RDA's marine units and commandeers their massive sea dragon vessel, which includes marine biologist Dr. Ian Garvin and is captained by the Tolkun hunter Mick Scoresby. Years ago, Garvin discovered that the Tolkun produce a liquid known as Amrita, which could hold the key to stopping human aging. And so, Scoresby has been mercilessly killing and extracting Amrita from the species ever since. Unable to locate Jake Sully amongst the water clans, Quaritch begins slaughtering villages and killing Tolkuns in the hopes of drawing Jake into a conflict. When Loak learns that Payakan is in danger, he rallies his siblings and friends to save the Tolkun. Quaritch manages to capture Loak, Rhea, and Took, while the other kids flee the RDA forces. Learning the children are in danger, Jake and his new Metkayina allies enter the fight. Amidst the conflict, Payakan takes revenge against Scoresby, destroying his boat and severing his arm, leaving the Tolkun hunter stranded at sea. While Kiri and Anung are pursued by underwater RDA vessels, Kiri uses her unique spiritual bond with Eywa to control the underwater environment to take out their pursuers. As Jake and Neytiri board the Sea Dragon to save their children, Spider remains loyal to his Na'vi allies and sabotages the vessel, causing it to begin to sink. Neytiri arrives on the Sea Dragon to rescue Loak, Rhea, and Took, though Loak refuses to leave without his friend Spider. And so, Loak rescues Spider while Neytiri grabs an RDA gun to cover their escape. Unfortunately, Neytiri is then shot and killed, tragically dying in the arms of his family. Quaritch then recaptures Took and Kiri, drawing the grieving Jake into a final confrontation. Quaritch holds Kiri at knife point, demanding that Jake surrender, but the rageful Neytiri arrives, similarly holding Spider at knife point, despite the child's loyalty to her family. Ultimately, Quaritch relents to save his son, though everyone's lives are in danger when the sinking Sea Dragon fully submerges into the ocean. Kiri saves Neytiri and Took, while Jake strangles Quaritch and leaves him for dead, before being rescued by Loak and Payakan. Spider rescues Quaritch, but then abandons him to return to the Sully family. In the end, Jake and Neytiri give Neytiri a traditional Metkayina funeral, giving his body to their spirit tree. Chief Tonowari accepts the Sully family as official members of his clan, which Jake vows to protect with his life. Jake now realizes that he will never be able to escape RDA, and must fight to bring them down once and for all.